planning, P. Then O stands for organizing. Yes. So basically organizing is nothing but arranging of things in set order. That is organizing. So in an organization, you see there are broad hierarchies. This is a top level management where the bosses, the CEOs, or the industry experts are sitting on the top. And the middle one is middle level management. Those who carry their instructions, which is prepared from the top level organization. And the bottom one is called lower level management. Okay. So they are responsible for executing whatever is being planned. So top level organization people, basically what do? They set objectives. They set plans. Okay. That this is in the days to come, in another 10 years, the organization will achieve so much objective, so much target. And the same thing is communicated to the lower level management through the middle level management. So similarly, there are other functions like directing. The next function is directing. Okay. So in order to achieve something, there is a chain of command. Just now we were discussing something about this hierarchy, top level management, middle level management, and the lower level management. So how do you think this chain of command flows? From bottom to top or top to bottom? Top to bottom. So that is chain of command. So anything which has to be conducted, which has to be executed by the lower level management, that command flows from the top level management. So that is directing. The bosses direct whatever needs to be done in an organization to the subordinates. All right. The next is controlling. Okay. Controlling is once whatever is prepared, that is in the level of planning. So what they do is they match the same thing. They wanted to see that whether whatever we had planned is as per the objectives and the standards which are set by the organization. That is the process of controlling. That is where controlling begins. Okay. So controlling is nothing but to match the output, this output, with the objectives which are set in the planning phase. And when they find that maybe it may be possible that the output is not equal to the objective, then in that case, what is the reason? The reason is that there are certain deviations. So that the organization is not moving on the track. There is certain deviation, there is certain problem. All right. So once you find the deviation, your work does not end there. Okay. So every good manager, the work is to find the deviation. Okay. So output is this particular thing. The output is measured in this particular function. That is in the controlling function. Okay. Planning phase is basically you create. करना क्या है हमें बनाना क्या है वो हम ऑब्जेक्टिव करते हैं. ठीक है. लेकिन कंट्रोल के प्रोसेस में ये हम देखते हैं कि जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ने अचीव किया, जो ऑब्जेक्टिव्स के साथ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का जो ऑब्जेक्टिव था, क्या वो वाकई अचीव हो पाया या नहीं. That is the process where deviations are identified. And what is deviation? Supposingly, you see this is the, for example, if we plan to achieve 100% profit in an annual year. All right, just see like this. In the year 2021, the organization had planned to achieve 100% profit. Okay, or maybe sales. But what had happened was that in that particular year, the actual sales or the actual profit was only 80%. So this 20% is what? Is the deviation. So basically what the organization has planned for the year 2020 was 100% profit, but actually it had achieved 80% profit. This is called deviation. Now the management will work on it. ऐसा क्यों हुआ? 100% क्यों नहीं अचीव हुआ? क्या कारण था? कहाँ कमी रह गई थी? And then they will take necessary corrective actions. So they will take necessary corrective actions, corrections basically. So that maybe in near future, that is in the year 2022, the actual sales would be 100%. How the output is equal to objective or standard? It can happen that there are output equal to objective or standard, or it may not happen also. Okay. So it is in general that usually, in very minimal situations, output is equal to the objective or standard. Because one thing we have already studied is business is dynamic in nature. So always there may be problem, there may be certain situations where the risk is there. So definitely in very minimal situations, output would be equal to the objective and standards. But that does not mean that we will accept that deviations. We will always try to work on it, and we will try to take corrective actions in order to improve our mistakes or whatever has been not achieved as per the plan. So we are through with the meaning of management. So basically in this PPT, you see many people have defined, given the proper definition of management. So some people say that it is attainment of organizational goal in an effective and efficient manner through planning, and see all these things are available here. You just see this. Yeah. So basically it is the attainment of organizational goals. What is attainment? To achieve the goal. Yes. In an effective and efficient manner. Effective क्या होता है? On time. Okay. Effective is on time. And efficient is, it can be before time. That is efficiency. Effective यानी कि जितना आपसे एक्सपेक्ट किया गया था उतना आपने करके दिया. लेकिन एफिशिएंसी का मतलब क्या होता है? एफिशिएंट का मतलब ये होता है कि जितना आपसे एक्सपेक्टेड था उससे ज्यादा आपने करके दिखाया. All right. So it may be the other way. Being effective is less than efficient. Can you understand this? So basically, it is always said that efficiency is greater than being effective. Other way, efficiency is being greater than effective. So we must always try to be efficient rather than effective. Effective is just whatever it was expected out of you. जैसा आपसे expected था आपने वो achieve किया. लेकिन efficient का मतलब ये होता है कि जितना आपसे expected था उससे ज़्यादा आपने किया है. Okay, and that you can do through this planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling organization resources. इसको याद करने का सबसे अच्छा तरीका ये PODSCORB. PODSCORB. Reporting and budgeting. That is the last two acronyms. Now, organization resources include men, money, machines, and material. Okay. So they are 4M. These are called 4 M's of organization. Men, because in each organization you have seen the laborers and the workmen who work in the organization, and that they carry out whatever is planned and they achieve the objective. And without money, nothing can achieve. So, capital for all the economic students, you're aware of this term called capital. So what is capital? In any organization, money is the integral aspect of running the business. Then machine and materials. Materials are the raw materials. So Lewis Boone David Kurtz has defined management in terms of use of people and other resources to accomplish these objectives. So now I'm sure you have understood how objectives are made and objectives बना के उनको achieve करते हैं. Objectives are basically made to achieve them, not to keep them as showpieces in the organization. Otherwise, what will happen is the organization will fail to function. Okay. It's not just you do the paperwork and just prepare the objective. You have to strive for it. You have to work hard for organization. The people in the organization have to work hard for it in order to achieve those objectives. So basically, objectives could be divided into three broad categories. Okay. Objectives could be divided into three broad categories. Let us see what they are. So the first category is strategic objectives. Okay. So strategic objectives is basically the long-term objectives of the organization for 5 to 10 years, or maybe 20 years also, or maybe 30 years also. You see? You must have come across this book by APJ Abdul Kalam, India 2020. That is, he has vision. He had a vision for India 2020, how the country India would look like, the Republic of India would look like in the year 2020. How many of you are aware of this Millennium Development Goals, MDGs, or Sustainable Development Goals? So these are what? In one millennium. What are the goals? There are 9 goals basically for achieving sustainable development. Okay, so these are called strategic objectives, development goals. How a country can adapt these goals in order to become developed country or to bring a good, sense of livelihood or say health, sanitation, okay, mortality rate, climate change, how they can, undertake several activities in order to achieve the efficiency in such fields. That is called strategic objectives. All these goals are strategic objectives, long-term visions of organizations. Then the second kind of, objective is tactical objectives. Tactical objective means tactics or the techniques. Tactical, the term tactical has been derived from the term called tactics. किसी भी काम को करने का कोई tactics होता है, कोई technique होता है. So whether the organization is following those objectives of the similar kind of techniques or what we can say is standard operating procedures, SOPs. You see, standard operating procedures. When you purchase any gadgets, what happens? Within the packet, within the box, you also get a literature. When you purchase a cell phone, what happens? You see a literature, you see a manual, how to run, how to operate that cell phone. So that is called SOP, standard operating procedure. So there are standard operating procedures for almost everything in terms of a gadget or product that if you use or any kind of services if you are availing, or maybe in terms of running a business, running an organization, both it can be educational or it can be profit-oriented organization, non-profit oriented organization. So everything has its own process and procedures. So that is called objectives. Then Market Mary Parker Follett has defined management as a very wonderful thing. Is the act of getting things done through others. So here our directing thing comes in place, into picture. How do we direct others to achieve what we want? It's a very difficult thing to do, basically. You want something and you basically want it to be done through others. So how will you ensure that others do the things that you want to do and not by the things that they want to do? Because every individual is different. We all know all the thumbprints are different. How will you ensure that whatever you expect, whatever you want is to be carried out by other members, other people in the organization? By a proper chain of command. So all the people who are working under you, you explain them the objectives, you explain them the SOP, you explain them the chain of command. Okay. Without chain of command, what will happen is everyone will think that they are the boss. So you have to make a proper hierarchy, organogram of the organization structure. So basically, it is a diagrammatic description of how the chain of command or how the management and the subordinates function. So how the hierarchy works, basically. Who is reporting to whom? This is organogram. So now you can see that management, organization, and management system. So when we are talking about managing organization, the second unit, the second topic is managing organization and management systems. So organizations have to be managed through these, management has various characteristics that you can just go through it. That is a distinct process. It is every management activity is different from the other process. There is no single single way of doing the things in the organization. Okay. कोई एक तरीके से आप किसी भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को मैनेज नहीं कर सकते बिकॉज टाइम डिफरेंट होता है, डायनेमिज्म होता है. ऐसा नहीं है कि आप एक टेम्पलेट बना लिया और उसको फॉलो कर सकते हैं 10 साल 20 साल. इट इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट. थिंग्स चेंज इन ड्यू कोर्स ऑफ टाइम. सो every activity, every process will be different. So that is why it is known as a distinct process. And then the second one says it's an organized activity. Everything happens through the organized set of functions. Organized activity. No activity can overlap. The third one is management aims at accomplishment of predetermined objectives. Predetermined objective, that is planning. So predetermined objectives here in this case is planning. This is planning, where the objectives are set in the planning stage. Okay? And management is both art and science. Why? It is a social science. It interacts with people. Okay. And then there are various theories. That is the reason it is called arts. But science, because it relates to experimentation. Just like in science, there is experiment. Similarly, in management, because all the processes are distinct. So hence, there will be a sense of experiment. Every time you try to do something, it would be a new experience. What do you mean by group activity? A, B, C, D, everything, all the groups will be together. They cannot function like A alone, B cannot function alone, C cannot function alone, and D cannot function alone. All of them have to come together to function. It is a group activity. Okay. Then management principles are universal in nature. Like whatever principle is followed, it is the same in everywhere. It can be same in America. It can be same in Japan. Okay. Everywhere the same sense is there, top to bottom. Chain of command is always there, top to bottom. It cannot be bottom to top. So this kind of principle is universal. Then management integrates human and other resources. So again, the 4 M's comes into picture.